Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are you all doing on this Wednesday morning? This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. Whew. Well, the heat wave has dropped, but I'm still feeling the humidity, and it takes a while for the humidity to go away, I'm afraid. So I'm going to have to contend with that still. Unfortunately, I still have content to do today, and we have quite a few live streams, which I'll discuss a little bit as well, guys. But welcome to the Good Morning Show. We'll look at the local weather, we'll look at daily quota. We're not going to look at a seaside town today because there's another news story that I want to spend some time talking about before we talk about UK news, because something happened last night that may or may not be true. So I think it's worth giving our time to it. It's news from outside the UK. Of course, there's obviously the story about the welfare as well, that the welfare bill that's passed its first reading in the House of Commons, which we will talk about as well. But good morning, Stephen Banker, and good morning, Stephen Banker, and anybody else lurking in the chats. Just a reminder that we are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. If you're on Twitch, if you can, hit that follow button and bell notification icon so when I go live. If you're here on YouTube, if you can, hit that like, share and subscribe button and hit bell notification icons whenever I go live as well. Sometimes it doesn't always work, so you need to turn it off and turn it back on for it to work. So guys, let's go and have a look at the weather report here, guys. So always say local weather report here. So at the moment it is 19 degrees here in London, 8 o'clock in the morning. 19 degrees, that's still very warm for an evening. The nights were very murky. It was very hard to sleep last night, but I did manage to get some sleep in the end. It is predicted to be cloudy pretty much all day, all the way up till about 5 o'clock in the evening is what it's reporting. Then the sun is expecting to come out there. There was some showers a bit earlier today. A little bit of showers earlier today I saw this morning, a bit earlier on when I woke up. And there is also a possibility that more rain may drop after about 10 o'clock or so. I was planning to go out for my walk straight after this live stream again, because if I want to do my walk, I have to literally do it after this live stream, because I've got 3 live streams to plan. So if I want to do it, I've got to do it there. I don't ever do my walks after 3 o'clock because I just don't want to do it around school kids. That's just my personal preference. So there's a chance if I go out for my walk, there's a chance I'll get hit by the rain. So need to make a difficult decision there. In terms of temperatures, the highest temperature is expected to reach is 24 degrees, and that's as late as 6 o'clock in the evening. So the temperatures that we experienced yesterday we're not going to experience them on the same level today. But the problem is that while we're not going to get those temperatures, we are still going to have that humidity. So that humidity is going to be around for a little bit, I'm afraid. Thursday is expecting the same temperatures, as high as 24 degrees, cloudy with sunshine. I'm expecting there. Friday is 25 degrees with cloudiness as well. But the temperatures are set to drop down again, apparently a little bit down again over the next couple of days. So on Saturday, there's a high chance of rain at 23 degrees. Sunday, there's a chance of rain again at 21 degrees. And on Monday, it has temperatures expected to be as low as 20 degrees with a 40% chance of rain. So over the weekend, the temperatures are expected to really drop. So hopefully by then, a lot of it will be a lot better. But however, it's forecasting that the following week, next week Friday, they're expecting sunny temperatures to reach 26 degrees. So it looks like it's going to be coming back around again. The heat wave, that intense heat wave may be coming back around again, guys. So that is today. That is the local weather report here. So while of course we passed the 30 plus threshold at the moment, doesn't mean to say that it won't come back again. So obviously because of the humidity, still drink plenty, still make sure your pets have got plenty of fluids as well. Please make sure you have taken all necessary precautions still, because it's still good the humidity is the thing that's really it's really going to be a problem, and something that you really need to be dealing with as best as you possibly can. I'm going to leave windows open all day today, because I think that will help air some of the humidity that's that's blocked up in the house. Excuse me, today. I think that will definitely help the situation there. So hopefully it will clear most of the humidity. Yes, it means that the heat, or some of the heat outside, will come in. Yes, that is, but I think that will help clear the humidity that's been boiling up in some of the house overnight as well. In terms of today's daily quota, today's daily quota for 2nd of July is by Lashutisku. If I've said that name right, I don't think so, but if you can see the name there. God damn it. The heat keeps making me tired and yawny. I hate it, guys. I'm sorry. I absolutely hate it. So here is today's daily quota for the 2nd of July. Nature does not hurry, and yet everything is accomplished. Nature does not hurry, and yet everything is accomplished. So I think this is basically not to rush to achieve everything that you want. And sometimes you just need to be patient, and sometimes it'll come naturally. You know, it will come naturally. And sometimes we don't have. We as humans are very impatient. That is for sure. Tomorrow's one's a really nice one from Errol Ozan here, but you'll have to wait till tomorrow to see that one, guys. You'll have to wait till tomorrow morning for another one of that there. But a very nice one there for sure. Right, guys, so normally this is the part where I take you to show you a seaside town and show you pull up a wiki and whatnot, but we're not going to do that this time. I want to talk a little bit about this story that's been going around last night. I'm going to take you straight to Al Jazeera because I want to show you guys it. So Donald Trump says that Israel agrees to a truce in Gaza and urges Hamas to accept the deal. So I don't know how true this is, but let's have a little gander here. So it says here that the US President Donald Trump has said that Israel has agreed to the necessary conditions to finalize a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza, and urges Hamas to accept the proposal. Israeli forces have killed 109 Palestinians across Gaza, including 28 who were shot while waiting for food parcel at the US and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation site. Well, this is the thing that's quite significant here. Now, we know that there have been discussions, and we know that for many periods, Hamas, rightfully so, do not trust Donald Trump and do not trust the Donald Trump and this administration, and of course not Israel because of the history, of course. Now, we have to bear in mind here that we'll have a look at the live feed in a moment, but it says here Israel agrees to the Gaza truce. Now, do they agree to the Gaza truce? That's the question here. I'm not so sure because I have reservations about it, because we know what Netanyahu is like. We know what this Israeli government is like. They want to continue the fighting. They don't want the war to end. They want it to keep going because they basically need to be in wars and conflicts because it benefits them. Benefits Netanyahu staying in power. You know, hence why the other reason why he went after Iran and the nuclear facilities was looking for another reason to go to war. So, do I buy this 60-day ceasefire? No. I even if Israel agreed to it, I'm very skeptical of it. And it also depends on what the conditions are as well. So, let's see. Iranians face economic strain. Netanyahu may seek US guarantees for strikes on Iran's rebuilt nuclear sites there, apparently. Numbers can get lost. Let me see if we can find I just want to see if I can find more on this in particular here. Big beautiful bill passed the Senate. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Where? Oh, I want to actually find. Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. I want to find. I don't want to find a live feed. I want to find an actual piece. Here we go. Thank you, Associated Press. 1 second. So Trump says Israel's agreed to terms for a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza and urges Hamas to accept the deal. So President Donald Trump said that Israel has agreed to terms to a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza and warned Hamas to accept the deal before conditions worse. Trump announced the development as he prepares to host the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for talks in the White House on Monday. The US leader has been increasing pressure on the Israeli government and Hamas to broker a ceasefire and hostage agreement to bring about the end to the war in Gaza. My representatives and a long and productive meeting with the Israelis today on Gaza. Israel has agreed to the necessary conditions to finalise the 60-day ceasefire, during which time we will work with all parties to end the war, Trump wrote, saying the Qataris and Egyptians will deliver the final proposal. I hope it will be good for the Middle East that Hamas takes this deal, because it will not get better, it will only get worse, he said. Trump promises that it was his best and final offer and may find a sceptical audience with Hamas. Even before the explanation of the war's longest ceasefire in March, Trump had repeatedly issued dramatic ultimatums to pressure Hamas to agree to longer pauses in the fighting that would see the release of more hostages and a return of more aid to Gaza's civilian population. Let's remind ourselves here, okay? The last ceasefire, which was brokered by both the Biden and Trump administration in coordination with other Arab nations on it. Well, shall we say the transitional Trump administration team. It was Israel who brokered it. It was Israel who fired the first shots, not Hamas. Yeah, the only thing that wasn't happening was exchanges of gunfire. There was a period where they stopped trading hostages completely, and during that period, Israel basically says, "F it, we're just going to go in there and go after Hamas." It wasn't Hamas that brokered the last ceasefire; it was Israel here. And even if Hamas agrees to this, which again we don't know the details, but even if they did, it won't be them that breaks the agreement. It will be Israel again. And that's the problem with this. You just cannot trust Israel to uphold its end of the bargain in all this. Actually, I'm going to keep my cold water closer. I hate reaching over for it. Just don't trust them. So still, Trump views the current moment as a potential turning point in the brutal conflict that has left more than 56,000 dead in the Palestinian territory. The Gaza Health Ministry does not differentiate between civilians and combatant deaths. Hamas is still capable of landing fatal blows to Israeli forces, but US officials believe that group has been significantly diminished as its centralized command and control capabilities have deteriorated over the course of the nearly 21-month conflict. Meanwhile, Hamas's chief backer Iran was badly battered last month by 12 days of strikes by Israel and the United States on Tehran's key nuclear facilities. Israel's Minister for Strategic Affairs, Ron Demir, was in Washington on Tuesday for talks with senior administration officials to discuss the potential Gaza ceasefire, Iran and other matters. Demir was expected to meet with the Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. Early on Tuesday, Trump repeated his hopes for forging an Israeli-Hamas ceasefire deal next week. After it's time to put pressure on Netanyahu to get the ceasefire deal done, Trump said the Israeli Prime Minister ready to come to an agreement. He wants to, Trump said of Netanyahu in exchange with reporters while visiting a new immigration detention facility in Florida. I think we'll have a deal next week. Talks between Israel and Hamas have repeatedly faltered over a major sticking point about whether the war should end as part of any ceasefire agreement. About 50 hostages remain captive in Gaza, with less than half believed to be alive. Hamas has said it's willing to free all the hostages in exchange for the full withdrawal of Israeli troops to end the war in Gaza. Israel rejects that offer, saying it will agree to end the war if Hamas surrenders, disarms and goes into exile, something that the group refuses. The announcement by Trump came as over 150 international charities and humanitarian groups called on Tuesday for disbanding the controversial Israel and US-backed system to distribute aid in Gaza because of the chaos and violence against Palestinians seeking food at its site. So all we can do on this is basically sit and wait and see what Hamas says, see what Israel basically says on this. Because at the moment we haven't heard directly from them. But do I actually think there's actually any context to this? I think there might be something to this, because I don't think Donald Trump... I know this. You guys are going to say, well, it's Donald Trump, Regan. Yes, I know it's Donald Trump. But there may be something to this. I know I'm clutching pearls on this, guys, but the thing is that if it is a 60-day ceasefire, it means that it's going to be a bit. It means that there'll be some peace for the Palestinian people in terms of optics, and that's what we want, guys. Good morning, Mithril. Hope you are doing well, and good evening, Steve McMahon, over on the other side of the world. Hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for the $5 New Zealand dollars, my friend. I hope you are doing well. So yeah, I think we may have a look later on the Snowflake Watch to see if there is an update on this, and we'll see if we can find some answers from Israel on the situation there, guys. Switching gears back to the UK, one of the bigger stories, of course, was the welfare reform bill. So Keir Starmer was forced into a dramatic climb down to pass the welfare reform bill. Rebel Labour MPs finally wove over a late promise to shelve plans for deep cuts to personal independent payment. So apparently, because I was not following it at the time, so apparently they made even more amendments, more dramatic climb down on the amendments in the bill to get it passed. I don't know what they were, but yeah, they made even more concessions in order to get it passed, from the looks of it. I don't know. I believe the changes to PIP are still in there. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, because I haven't read up on it yet. God damn it, heat wave is making me tired. I hate it. Hate it all. But in terms of this, I'm disappointed it didn't get defeated. Even if it meant Labour being put into chaos, putting the Prime Minister and the Chancellor into chaos, I would have happily accepted that because of the damage that I still think the changes to the welfare reform are making. The thing that really infuriates me more than anything when we talk about the changes to the welfare reform is the severe lack of communication that they've had with charities and organisations around those who will be deeply affected by this. This is the thing that really infuriates me, because this is them trying to do it without any consultation with those who are deeply affected with it the most. And it's the same when it comes to issues around LGBT plus communities. When they were being affected about changes that were being made by the government or by courts and laws, they were not discussed and taken into account. And we have the same thing here, and it's just like, it's literally like common sense has been thrown out the window on it, and it's so infuriating. So Keir Starmer has been forced to abandon the central plank of his welfare bill to get it past its first common hurdles, with a dramatic climb down that meant he had to drop disability benefit cuts to avert a major Labour rebellion. So after a week of chaos that has left the Prime Minister's political authority badly damaged, Labour MPs were finally won over by a commitment to shelve plans for deep cuts to personal independent payments. That's good. That's very good. That is very, very good. They shelved it for now. But while the controversial bill passed its second reading, the saga has exposed tensions between Number 10 and Labour backbenchers and created a huge headache for Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, who will now have to find a further $2.5 million of savings from her autumn budget. Oh, if only there was if only there was 3 million millionaires or billionaires in the UK that could potentially help plug this gap by just asking them to pay a little bit more tax, guys. If only that was the case here. Purity, good morning. Hope you are doing well. I can't see Netanyahu ever offering any realistic terms for ending the Israeli war on the people of Gaza. It is simply not in his own personal interest. I agree, Purity. I absolutely agree with that assessment. That's why I'm very, very skeptical of Trump saying this. But the thing is, Donald Trump needs to. If Donald Trump is serious about ending this, getting a ceasefire in, he has to be willing to cut Israel off to a certain extent. And yes, that will piss off a lot of Israeli lobbyists within the US and deep in the US politics. But if he's generally serious about this, he needs to say to the Zionists, hey, you need to stop doing this. You're making me look bad. I think what could happen is that they could agree to a temporary. I do think that what could happen is to make Trump look good, because Donald Trump likes looking good. It's good PR. If they actually get an agreement of a ceasefire, and Donald Trump gets that good PR moment saying, "Look, see, I made the ceasefire agreement work," and then they can later on basically start it again, break the ceasefire, and then go at it again. That's what I can see happening, you know. Because remember, Donald Trump, one thing he likes is good publicity. You know, they may make that concession for him. It also raised questions about the government's handling of the welfare reform bill, with fingers being pointed at the downstreet political operation. Labour whips and the Prime Minister himself for the bruising affair. Yeah, well, because you guys didn't discuss with the very people that you were affecting. A total of 49 Labour MPs voted against the second reading, more than 3 times greater than the previous rebellion of 16, which was on an amendment to the Planning and Infrastructure Bill last month. Universal Credit and Personal Independent Payments passed its second reading on Tuesday by 335 votes to 260, a majority of 75. So MPs were particularly concerned that the government's own poverty analysis showed that even after a series of concessions, 150,000 of the most vulnerable people would end up with relative poverty as a result. Officials said the modelling did not take into account the changes being made to the NHS and the back-to-work schemes. The bulk of the rebellions were from the left of the party, and none of them were the select committee chairs who spearheaded the rebellion last week. But it was a sizable rebellion given the scale of the concessions already made. Angela Rayner, the Deputy Prime Minister and government whips, warned at Downing Street on Tuesday that further movement was needed after meeting with Labour MPs already unhappy over the substance of the bill, and Starmer's approach after he dismissed criticism as noise is off. Yeah, like it's just so infuriating. This is. As far as I understand, they're just going to apply cuts to the newer claimants. For me, it's Starmer's incarceration of Labour is finished. Starmer needs to step down now while there's time to fix things. Starmer's not going to step down. If Starmer's not going to step down, they're going to have to push him out. I agree with Max what he said last night on his live stream. I don't see Starmer getting pushed out right now. I don't think that's the case because the bill passed. If the bill failed, then that question would be raised. But the bill didn't fail. But yeah, this is such poor communication from Labour here. It's really shambolic. And good morning, Trip and Alistair Kier. Good to see you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. So as a result, the government confirms that changes to disability payments will only take place after Stephen Trimms, the Welfare Minister, has reported on the findings of his review into the system. They're due to conclude in autumn 2026. Originally, the PIP changes were due to come in from November 2026. Government insiders suggest that resignations could follow the chaotic scenes. Although a cabinet meeting before the vote, Starmer defended his chief of staff, Morgan McSweeney, who has been credited for winning Labour's 165 working majority, but faced some internal criticism over the row. Yeah, a lot of people were pointing the finger at Morgan McSweeney as well. We will learn from our mistakes, but we will not turn on each other, Starmer told his ministers. We will not resist from our record of achievements, and we will not turn on our staff, including our chief of staff, without whom none of us would be sitting around this cabinet table. The process left Liz Kendall, the Work and Pension Secretary, badly humiliated, with the U-turn coming just hours after she had told the Commons the new PIP 4-point threshold would apply from November 2026 and emphasised the need for the Trimms review to take its time. After her position was untenable, after serious concessions left the bill a bit hollowed out version of the original proposal, Kendall insisted that despite what she called a bumpy time of the vote, the broader policy was on track. I think if Keir Starmer is to survive, he needs to. I think there's been talk of a cabinet reshuffle. I think Liz Kendall should get the boot. I think that would definitely and someone else in there, someone that actually is her attitude in all of this, and I say attitude, not just her language, the attitude of her in all of this has been nothing short of disgusting. Really not listening to people's concessions. If Labour are serious about making the changes to welfare reform, they need to start listening to people. I think she's going to be getting the boot here. I think listening is actually a strength in politics, as indeed is in life, and I'll continue to listen to colleagues. She said what was very interesting was how much support there was for the principle of reforming the welfare state. This is one thing that everyone is in agreement on, is everybody does want changes to the welfare, agrees that there needs to be reform. I agree with it, and I'm sure most of you guys agree that there needs to be changes to the welfare reform as well. But it's just the way they want to do it. It's just not ideal. Thank you so much, Alistair Kier, for the £2 super chat. All hail Democratic Penguins Republic. Thank you for that £2 super chat, much appreciated. And thank you for the 5 gifted memberships to Witchy Goth, Martin Harlow, Tories Don't Get Tasered, Ben Ridgins, and Lewis McGee there who've been gifted 5 memberships there. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So yeah, but it's interesting here. This is the bit that's kind of that I find very fascinating here, is that Labour MPs finally won over a commitment to shelve plans for the deep cuts to the personal independent payment. We'll see over time. I'm very interested to see how Prime Minister's questions is going to go as well. It's going to be fascinating, I think, is the word to use there. That's for sure. So, next story here, guys. The chief rabbi condemns a BBC's mishandling response to the anti-IDF chanting at Glastonbury as Bob Villans issues a new statement. So Reverend Mavis says outright incitement of violence and hatred appears to be acceptable if it couches edgy political commentary. So the chief rabbi described the BBC's response to anti-IDF chanting at Glastonbury as aggrieved and mishandled, as the punk rap duo involving Bob Villans said the UK government needed to talk about his criminal inactions. He's not inciting violence. We've talked about this. I said the comments were were too far, in my opinion. The comments went way too far. The death to the IDF, I thought, were comments too far, but everything else he's been saying is totally justified. Confidence in the BBC's ability to treat anti-Semitism seriously. It's not anti-Semitism. Has been brought into a new low, as he said on the post on X, adding that the outright incitement to violence and hatred appears to be acceptable if it was couched as edgy political commentary. It's not anti-Semitism. It's pointing out the facts. There's nothing anti-Semitic there's nothing anti-Semitic about what he said. There's nothing anti-Semitic about it, but that's what they're trying to smear him as. We want reform with kindness. She wants reform with cruelty. Yes, that's a great way of putting it, Mithril. Absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely true. That is the best. Couldn't have put it better. Yeah, we do want reforms to the welfare system, but we want it done with a great deal of care and consideration for the people involved in it. But yeah, they just want to cut their legs off of people, which is pretty disgusting. Purity says, I'd rather see a leader like Clive Lewis and Streeting, Phillipson, Reeves, Kendall, and Mahmoud replacing. I know it's big art, but core values, huh? Yeah, I'd like to see Clive Lewis in there. West Streeting, I don't like Streeting. You're not going to remove a Rachel Reeves. You're not removing Rachel Reeves as Chancellor. If Keir Starmer goes, the Chancellor will go. If the Chancellor goes, Keir Starmer goes. You can't change the Chancellor over. Like, that's just that. It's either if one goes, both of them eventually goes. That's basically what's going to happen there. On that. Thank you so much for another £2 super chat. As the case, just one more to hit the goal. Yeah, for today. Thank you so much. For some reason, it's not letting me click it. And you get a membership, and you get a membership subscription. Yeah, it's been very generous there. Ordinary people had not only failed to see the incitement for what it is, but had cheered it, chanted it, and celebrated it, he said. Toxic Jewish hatred is a threat to our entire society. Again, he wasn't talking about Jewish people. Again, the context really matters. People are not paying attention to the context. And don't take my word for it. If you think it was toxic Jewish hatred, go and play the clips online and listen to what he actually said. The context really matters. That's not what he said. It's really important to emphasize that. Thank you, Steve McMahon, for the $5 New Zealand dollars to help reach today's goal. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate generosity. Bavolin chanted death to the IDF at Glastonbury. As many as 95% of the IDF are thought to be Jewish. Yeah, it's up to 90% of them. But he's talking about the if you want to apply context, which most people are doing, 90+% of them are Jewish. But he's talking about the organisation. It's not talking about specific people. Okay. Rather, they were dismantling for a violent military machine, the Israeli Defense Force. In their statement, the group said that they were a distraction from the story, and for whatever sanctions they received would also be a distraction. And they had the US visas dropped from them too. Again, it's just distractions, 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 guys. It really, really is. I was going to cover one or two other stories, but we've already reached a half-hour waypoint, so let's... my computer's being frozen. Why are you being frozen? Come on. Taking 2 hours now to load up the screen. It shouldn't be that bad. Come on, Guardian. Come on. Oh, you shouldn't be this slow. It's taking a while. Sorry, guys. There we go. Finally got there, I think. Have you finally got there? No, you're still loading in. Oh, my God. I don't know what you... Hold on a second. Let me check my... It's up. It's working there. Come on. God, this computer is so slow today. Alright, I think we're okay. So, front of UK politics under The Guardian. Children should not be strip searched or detained unless a last resort, says MPs. Yeah, they shouldn't be in any way, shape or form, in my opinion. Parliamentary reports include harrowing testimonies from children in England and Wales about their treatment. Children should not be detained. Harrowing testimonies from children in England and Wales who were strip searched, who accused police of racism and making damaging, disrespectful comments, are included in the research for the All-Parliamentary Group on Children in Police Custody. The report's the culmination of a year's research involving children, police forces and parents, were released days after the sacking of 2 Metropolitan police officers involved in the strip search of a schoolgirl became known as Child Q. Yes, I remember that story. That was absolutely disgusting. While the police misconduct hearing found that racism was not a factor in the incident, that's bullshit. The research gives a voice to young people who said that racism was a factor in their strip searches. Children as young as 10 in England and Wales are currently subject to the same process and have essentially the same protections as adults when they are detained in police custody. Instead, the MPs on the group said the police detention should be the last resort for a child and that any initial detention period should be limited to 12 hours. Half of the time that adults can be held, they must be charged or released. Dr. Miranda Bevan, a law lecturer at King's College London who led an inquiry into the APPG, said that children who were detained were disproportionately likely to have special educational or communication needs, to have been exploited or suffer victimisation, or to have been known to mental health authorities. Yet these children, some as young, are being left alone in a police cell with very limited hours of support for up to 24 hours, she said. They are expected to decide whether or not they want to accept legal representation, a decision that they should not be asked to make in those circumstances. We must reshape police custody into a space that recognises and responds to the unique needs of children. Reform must be rooted in evidence, and that evidence needs to start with listening to children and examining their experiences. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this to children? What is this? What is this? The APP puts forward 10 recommendations, including a ban on strip searching children unless there are truly exceptional circumstances, and making it a requirement that legal advice be provided for all children detained in police custody. No, I think it should be banned outright. I think if you are 16 or younger, you cannot do this to them. I think it should be banned outright. Strip search from 16 or under. And then from 16 to 18 in as a last resort in exceptional circumstances. But 16 or under, it should be banned outright. That's it. I'm sorry. Like, I don't care what the reasons you need to check somebody for. No matter what. Like, just no. I don't accept that circumstances. It shouldn't be just truly exceptional circumstances. Like we're talking about strip search here. We're not talking about checking them for weapons, like patting them down and all that. That's different. We're talking about strip search here, guys, on children. Okay. There's a limit. There's a line here. This line, and even I'm sorry, but even on truly exceptional circumstances here, this is just wrong, wrong on so many levels. Twelve of England's regional mayors back plans for National Active Travel Network. Okay. The welfare bill there. How did your MPs vote on the welfare reforms? Okay, we could have a look, actually. Okay. So, all that barrage, yeah, what a surprise. What a surprise. For all the Conservatives bluster, saying that we may not back it unless you give us concessions. Here they all are. Here they all are. Just see. I'm just seeing. Did Kemi support the bill? I bet she supported the bill. I'm just trying to see if Kemi supported the bill. Just curious. Did she support the bill? Where are you, Kemi? Where are you, Kemi? Come on. I know you voted for it. Come on. Where are you, Kemi? I'm just seeing if Kemi voted for it. Come on, Rishi Sunak, of course. Come on, you're not fooling me. Surely she voted for it. Surely she voted for it. She didn't abstain. Surely not. She's not there. She must have abstained from it. Oh my god, she actually abstained from the bill. Ah. Oh no, I'm going mad today, guys. No, so all the Conservatives voted against it. All the Conservatives. So a decent, yeah, not Lib Dems went against it. Thank you, SNPs, and the Greens, obviously, with common sense. Even Reform voted against it. Even Reform voted against it as well. Yeah, I'm going mad. Yeah, thanks, Benjamin. I'm losing my mind today. Why are these independents voted for it? What are you bastards doing? Just having a quick look at the list of who. So there's a whole list here. Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious to see if. So Kemi obviously didn't vote against it. She abstained from the looks of it there. Or she wasn't available. Starmart offers major concessions on it. Children crossing channel from France exposed to tear gas, reports say as well there. I see the front of UK. Can you open it up? Thank you. Heathrow substation fire caused by fault first identified 7 years ago. Okay. Ofgem opens investigation into National Grid as report finds incident that cut airport power was preventable. Of course it was preventable. The root cause of the substation fire that shut Heathrow Airport back in March was a preventable technical fault that National Grid had been aware of 7 years ago but failed to fix properly. Investigators had concluded. The final report of the National Energy System operator NISCO into the incident found that the fire that cut power to the airport, affecting more than 1,350 flights and almost 300,000 passengers, was almost likely caused by moisture entering the installation around wires, sparking the electrical fault. The state-owned body said its investigation had found that National Grid, the owner of the substation that caught fire, which also cut power to 67,000 homes, had been aware of the issue in the bushing, a structure die which currently flows in and out of a transformer in 2018. Quote, an electric moisturizer reading in the bushing had been detected in oil samples taken in July 2018, but mitigating action appropriate to its severity will not implement, the report said. National Grid has since initiated an end-to-end review of its oil sampling process, with a review ensuring it is robust. In response to the findings, Ofgem, the energy regulator for Great Britain, has opened an investigation into National Grid for what it calls a preventable technical fault. Ofgem said it will review whether National Grid complied with legislation and licence conditions relating to the development and maintenance of the electrical system at North Hyde. It also commissioned an independent audit into National Grid's critical infrastructure assets and their status. So why didn't they fix it? Why didn't they fix it at the time? That's the question everybody needs to ask ourselves. UK universities have failed to protect gender-critical academics, report finds. Tiny Melodies, musician used Moth's flight data to compose piece about their decline. Owners of collapsed oil refinery Praxley took £11.5 million in pay and dividends. More than 80% of UK farmers worry about climate crisis harming livelihoods, study finds. No shit. Well, if you care about climate crisis, then stop voting Conservative then. UK to BC and overweight endemic costs £126 billion a year, study suggests. I don't know about £126 billion a year. That sounds excessive to me. That sounds very excessive to me. Right, let's have a look at some of the other news that's taking place as well. Let's have a look at Sky News here. Starmer on the welfare reforms. Country numbers behind Labour's pledge to build 180,000 new social homes. Pretty much everything on Sky News is all about the welfare changes, analysis. Have they got any other stories? Catastrophic failure led to the Heathrow power outage. We just looked at that now. PM's U-turn on welfare. £1.65 tea beats the big names in a blind test for decaf. So apparently it's cheaper tea bag than the original ones. I'm not a tea person, but I know people. But I know obviously family. My family used to really like PG Tips, but here where we are, they're more of a Yorkshire tea people personally. Man arrested on suspicion of murder after inmate found dead in prison cells. UK content creators demand formal recognition from government. UK content creator. Hey, that's me. Small detectors could be used to monitor criminals at home. 2 arrested after Palestine Action claimed it blocked Israeli defense firm UK site. So what's this about me? 56% of more than 10,000 creators, I was not surveyed, said they do not think UK creators have a voice in shaping government policies that affect them, and nearly half think their value is not recognised by the broader creative industry. Yeah. Why was I not inputted on this? Question mark. The UK's YouTubers, TikTok creators, and Instagram influencers have been surveyed en masse for the first time ever and are demanding formal reconciliation from the government. The creator economy in the UK is thought to employ about 45,000 people and contributed to over $2 billion in the country in 1 year alone, according to a new research by YouTube and Public First. But despite all that value, its workers say they feel underappreciated by the authorities. If you look at our viewerships, our channels, it's not too different from a big media company, said Max Calamero, a content creator with more than 10 million subscribers and half a billion monthly views on average. Okay, I don't have that viewing point, but still. If you look at the relatively, especially among young audience, I will say that we are more relevant, they said. You don't really get the same treatment, told Sky News. 56% of more than 10,000 creators surveyed said they do not think the UK creators have a voice in shaping government policies that affect them. This needs to change. Only 7% think they get enough support to access finance, while just 17% think there is enough training and skill development in the UK. Nearly half think their value is not recognised by the broader creative industry. The Creative Industry Minister, Sir Chris Bryant, said the government firmly recognises the integral role that creators play in the UK's creative industry and the fact that they help to drive billions into the economy and support more than 45,000 jobs. We understand that more can be done to help creators reach their full potential, which is why we are backing them through our new creative industry sector plan, he said. The UK's got a fantastic history of supporting the creative industry, said Ben Woods, a career economy analysis, media researcher who was not involved in the report. Why was I not involved in all of this? This is outrageous. Just because I'm a small fish at the moment. Outrageous, guys. I was dismissed outright on this. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. They should have surveyed you. I think they missed a big voice. Yeah. Thank you, Satoshi. Speaking up for me. Yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. Right, let's have a look at the BBC. Small boat crossings in the first half of the year is up 48%. More on the welfare concessions. Parental leave and pay for new parents is to be reviewed. Workers face 2-year wait for several new rights. Public invited to decide how MPs' pay should be set. Parliament Expenses Watchdog wants around 20 members of the public take part in a review of how it sets MPs' pays. Where's a link? Do you have a link for this? Do you have a link for this? Do you have a link for this so I can where can I see this? Group will meet 4 times in September. So citizens episodes that Parliament says citizens form. The group will meet several times. Okay, 1 second, guys. I am going to just, I'm going to keep that on the side there because I want to see if I can, if there's something I can sign up for, because I would like to take part in that. I generally like to take part in that. I'm not joking. I actually would like to participate if that's possible. I probably have already got 20 people, but it's worth giving it a shot. Labour MP press Kendall on the rollout of benefit charges. COVID inquiry hears of care home slaughter. COVID inquiry is still continuing, guys. Don't forget, it's not done. It's still happening as we speak. Remember, you can find, if you want to hear more about the COVID inquiry, there's a YouTube channel called the UK COVID inquiry. So you can always follow that, and they live stream the hearings from the COVID inquiry on there if you guys want to do that. They also have a website at UK COVID-19 inquiry as well. You can always go to that as well. They have some brief summaries there as well if you guys want to see how the inquiry is going on, guys. It would be great if there was actual training to get into creating content. I'd love to start my own channel. There are one of the ways you can do it is the hardest. So for me, I've always wanted to do it, but one of the hardest things is being able to start doing it. And it wasn't until myself and Lee Korn were doing the Snowflake show that and we both did not know what we were doing. But once I was comfortable doing that with him for after a good while, I remember doing my very first video, and I was nervous as hell, and it took me a while to find my feet around doing this. Sometimes it's literally a case, if you want my honest opinion, Purity, sometimes you should just literally, my best recommendation is just create the channel if you haven't got one already, and just whatever you want to discuss, whatever you want is, just grab your camera, grab your phone on your camera, and just talk to the camera. Talk about whatever it is you want. Sometimes you don't need to have props and whatever, but just start talking to the camera. You know, it doesn't matter if you don't get any views, or if you get 10 views, or if you get 1 million views. Once you start doing it, you'll get more and more comfortable, and then you can expand your ideas from there. So and then you can look back on it and say, okay, let me see, and then you can expand your ideas from there. Sometimes it's just a case of just being able to do that first video. Once you've done that first video, you can get into a rhythm. I don't personally think you need actual training for this, because I've not done any training for this channel. You know, it's come from the experience that I've had with Lee Korn that's allowed me to do what I'm doing. But that's just my advice for anybody here who wants to do their own YouTube channel. Literally, just grab even if you don't have a computer, literally just your phone can be your phone can literally be your YouTube channel. You know, you literally just grab it, press record, start recording, however long you want to go to, and then once you've done it, you can upload it straight to YouTube. That's it. So there is nothing stopping you to start right now. It's just a case of what you want, whatever it's a subject you want to talk about. So that's why I never talk on my videos. I have a massive voice dystopia, says Ginger. It's whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, there's also AI out there. You could also use AI. You could also use AI to do the voicing on your behalf as well. So even if you didn't want to do your own voice, you could have an AI voice to do it on your behalf. I think there are free ones out there, Ginger Lefty. If you didn't want to use your own voice, just as a suggestion. I was just seeing if there's any other style welfare payments. MP asked Lotus to give clarity to 1,300 workers. Starmer criticises polling Bob Fernand's IDF chance. Yeah, that was yesterday. Just see. At least 180 accrued period in defence after cancer diagnosis. TPS could disappear from the UK and Santander deal. Banknotes are getting a makeover, and the Bank of England wants your help. Man charged with murder of pregnant mother of 2. Woman abused by mum wants sentencing review guidelines reviewed. Murder of 92 to be investigated over cold case. Parking fine saw in Sky tourist site crackdown. So those are some of the stories from the BBC there. It's all the editing and technical side. I work most of my life in theatre and it's sound design and engineering. Perhaps I'm overthinking things. I use OBS, but there's lots of other programs that you can use, free programs that you can use. And when I first used OBS here, I had no idea what I was doing. And basically, I just had to have YouTubers explain. And basically, I just went on YouTube and asked, about the program, explained how it works, and there are YouTubers out there that literally break it down for you step by step on how to use things. Like the Discord community that we have, yeah, that was all, I learned all that through YouTube. You know, literally a YouTuber taught me step by step how to make a Discord server. You know, like if you had asked me like 5-10 years ago about Discord, I wouldn't even know how to use the thing. Like I was terrified at first using it when I joined Max's server ages and ages ago, and now I have my own Discord community. So it's all a case of, remember, YouTube, you can literally, if you don't know how to do something, literally type it on YouTube, someone will tell you how to do something. If you then that's not just for content creation, that's for anything, guys. If there's something you want to be able to do or learn how to do, literally type it on YouTube, because there's always somebody who will tell you how to do a certain thing. That is the power of YouTube there. So yeah, I hope that helps you guys, honestly. So I do need to make fundamental changes to my, well, I actually want to update all my thumbnails and everything for my channel, because I think you know, because we're already halfway through the year, I do think my thumbnails and titles are outdated, and we need I think the channel needs a bit of a makeover, if I'm honest. So this is the Independent. Rattlestar must scrape through welfare. Anything else apart from welfare? Families say they may have to homeschool children if school closes. Trans charity demands investigation into the EHRC following gender ruling. Small boat crossings hits record high and another blow to Starmer. UK here. Premium bonds price checker, when is July's draw and have I won? How does 2025 heatwave compare to record-breaking summers of 1976? It's not a fair comparison, in my opinion. Households up to receive up to £2,000 in compensation for water failures. Aerial footage shows the scale of fire on Scotland's Deviar Moor. Oh my god. Hottest day on record, temperatures in the UK hit 34 degrees. I don't think we hit 34 here in London, but on the south it probably did there. Easy to use homes appliances you never knew existed. Trump threatens jail Mandabi in New York and calls Biden a son of a b. Didn't say that word. Those are some of the stories from the Independent there. Yeah, it's you know, sometimes you just need to take that leap of faith, Purity. You just got to take that leap of faith. It's hard. It's hard to do so. It's hard to do so. I know, because here's the thing, like, I'm so passionate about professional wrestling, as a wrestling fan, but I still haven't started a proper wrestling channel, which is something I wanted to do, and I did my first video and then I never followed up on it. So I you know, that's something that I would love to make a living off, being a passionate wrestling fan and being a content creator around wrestling. So, like, even though this is, in my opinion, something I'm comfortable and confident in doing, in terms of wrestling, in doing it in the context of wrestling, not so much. So, it's difficult. It's difficult. This is the iPaper here. Fast track jobs and quicker expenses. Streeting's new plans for nurses reveals. Exclusive from them. Judy Murray on Andy Murray, Wimbledon. Yep. Landlords could be forced to ensure renters don't live in damped and mold. Yes, please do that. I can't click it, guys, unfortunately, because it's behind everything is behind a paywall now for the iPaper, which is I used to pay for iPaper, but I don't anymore. It's not worth it was not worth it. 4-point threshold for PIP delay. The Starmer caves into rebellion. So the 4-point threshold for PIP has been delayed there. So that's another confirmation that it has been shelved, which is good for now. Maternity and parental leave could get longer under plans to help parents. Send shake up to increase pressures on teachers in mainstream schools. Fast track jobs and quicker expenses. Streeting's new plan for nurses revealed. And the rest are just opinion pieces there. We've already got just over 6 minutes. just quickly, guys, before we go to the next stuff, just a reminder. So 12 o'clock tonight, 12 o'clock today, I'll be covering Prime Minister's questions. So if you guys want to join me for that, please do. As for tonight, really important, guys, Snowflake Watch will be at 8 o'clock normal time. I have spoken to Max regarding his live stream. He said that his live stream that he's doing with Zoe Gardner will be half an hour, 40 minutes max. He said that's what it will be. So he's not going to be going for that long. He said to me. So he said he's not gonna. He said his live stream's not gonna clash with mine. So if you guys still want to see Max's live stream and then see my live stream later on at 8 o'clock for the Snowflake Watch, that won't be an issue, guys. Honestly, it won't be an issue. So I will be going. I did change the time threshold. I need to change it again. So yeah, Snowflake Watch will be tonight at 8 o'clock normal time, just for reference there. So just wanted to make that very, very clear, unless something dramatically changes. But Max has said that he's live stream with Zoe Gardner that he's doing tonight will only be half an hour, 40 minutes max. Is what he said there, guys. Financial Times, Starmer guts UK welfare reforms to avoid Commons defeat. EU blocks Britain's attempts to join pan-European trading bloc there. Rachel Reeves faces £5 billion physical hole after welfare reform U-turn. And by the way, if it does go up to 8 o'clock and he still hasn't finished it, I will hold off from going live until he finishes. You know, honestly, like it doesn't faze me. Like I was planning, I could even start at 9 o'clock or 9:30 if I really wanted to for that show, because I really want to do the Snowflake Watch because there's a lot to cover. So it's honestly, it's going to be fine, guys. We will still live stream tonight either way, but I'm not going to clash with Max, as you guys know. Abolish triple lock on UK pensions to prevent financial cliff, says the IFS. NHS hospitals can use any approved medical kit under plans to cut admin. 10-year plan for health services will include any innovation of passports to prevent duplications of testing. Life Sciences plans delayed over a pricing battle with pharma industry. Former RNS head was allowed to act without checks or balances, says senior MP. Committee probes the UK Statistics Authority's role in overseeing Sir Ian Diamond, who resigned as National Statistician in May. Interesting. Inflation interest rate tracker, and there's just other opinion pieces there. Let's just have a quick look at the homepage of what they got here. Starmer guts UK well reforms. Is Trump's big beautiful bill a political curse for Republicans? Yes. Solomon Darby is wrong. Of course, billionaires should exist, says Michael Strain. Why? Why? Why should billionaires exist? They don't need the money. Explain to me why a billionaire needs to own £1 billion. They don't need the money. What are you using the money for? Why do you need it when people who have absolutely nothing shouldn't have anything? Why can't some of that money that you have that's sitting in bank accounts doing absolutely nothing, why can't that go to somebody who actually needs it? Fucking moron. EU blocks Britain's attempts to join PAC European trading bloc. Sabotage suspect as a mystery blast oil hits tankers. Heathrow fire caused by problems first identified National Grid 7 years ago. Apologies for swearing. I shouldn't have swear this early in the morning. Abolish triple lock on UK pensions to prevent financial cliff, SSIFS. And a couple other stuff there. Oh, right, we'll leave that there. Let's have a quick look at the Times. State pension triple lock should be scrapped. Rayner takes inspiration from John Prescott for Deputy PM office. NHS patients face more delays as minimum weights imposed. After years of cars trims, brings the crazy back to the Commons. Starmer's welfare bill passes after shambolic climb down. Migrant cross-hittings hits a record 20,000 in 6 months. Starmer's ECHR pick defends freedom of expression on gender. Starmer weathers the largest rebellion as welfare bill passes the vote there. Those are some of the news from the Times. No, I do not want to log in on the Tory graph. Thank you. Israel has agreed terms of ceasefire, says Donald Trump. BBC Director General fights for job after Glastonbury crisis. Yeah, get rid of him. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. 3 Lucy Ledby hospital bosses arrested over manslaughter. Migrants could be barred from asylum on Britain after deal with France. No worries, Caffel. Thanks so much. Appreciate you popping in. Appreciate it. So benefit bill turns too fast. Met Office blames man-made climate change for heat wave. Of course it was man-made. Of course it was. British companies named and shamed by the UN for profiting from Israeli genocide. British soldiers killed operating drones on Ukraine on the front lines. Putin quietly ramp up war for goals while the world is distracted by Iran. German follows Iranian plots to attack Jews. Disneyland pedophile took 9-year-old bride mother on holiday. That's a very old story, that one there. I'm going to have to leave byline times, I'm afraid, there, guys, but that is all that we have got time for. It is 9 o'clock, guys. So just before I go, a reminder, I'll be back again live at 12 o'clock for Prime Minister's Questions. If you could join me for that, please do. Morning Brew with Graham Hughes will be starting now on Politics Social. If you guys want to join him for that, feel free to do so. At 10:30, Dave McGuinness will be having the paper review for all things in Scotland and some UK paper reviews there for half an hour from 10:30 to 11 o'clock. So if you could join in for that, please feel free to do so. youtube.com/the2davies. I will be, and then I will have Prime Minister's Questions at 12 o'clock. I will be, and then also at 7 o'clock, Max Robespierre will be interviewing Zoe Gardner on a live stream from 7 o'clock in the evening. And then at 8 o'clock, I will be live streaming the Snowflake Watch. There, we'll be watching, reacting to certain clips online, things that are happening in the UK as well as outside the UK. There'll be plenty to discuss and look at for sure, guys. But I'm done here for the Good Morning Show. I'll be back with another Good Morning Show tomorrow at 8 a.m. But thank you all for coming along. Thank you guys for all your comments. Thank you, Alistair Keir, for the gifted memberships and super chats. And thank you, Stephen Mon, for your super chats as well. Take care as always. Just because it's not as hot today as it was yesterday doesn't mean to say that still drink plenty. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your pets as well as your loved ones. Do look out for each other because, you know, when temperatures reach this hot, it can be fatal to some people. So please be careful, guys. So on your way out, hit that like button, share, subscribe, all the usual stuff, guys. And thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.